Hello, friends, and welcome to the very first episode of the DCHP Lounge podcast. I am so glad you're here. Whether you are brand new to family discovery or already deep in your ancestry journey, I created this space for us to talk about the things that truly shape our lives, our stories, our people, our healing, and the legacies we protect and pass on. And today we're starting where all journeys began, with that quiet, sometimes painful, sometimes beautiful nudge that whispers, there's more to know. Let's talk about where it all started for me. When was the last time that you slowed down long enough to ask yourself, where did I come from? What am I carrying? And what do I want to pass on? Hey, I'm Jasmine, your host, self-mastery coach, photographer, and a lover of deep, meaningful conversations. And this is the DCHP Lounge. Each week, we hold space for real stories, soulful reflections, and intentional dialogue to help you discover your roots, connect with what matters most, heal the parts of you that you need, and protect the legacy you are here to leave behind. Because healing your story isn't just personal, it's generational. So grab your journal and let's get deep together. I didn't always know I'd end up here, hosting a podcast about family legacy and discovery. But in 2014, when I lost my great-grandmother, something shifted. That was the first time I really felt a deep loss in my family, and not just personally, but culturally. She was the matriarch, the oldest living generation in our family. Soon after, about a month later, my grandfather passed. And suddenly the people who held the language, the traditions, the food, the memories, they were gone. The silence they left behind wasn't just emotional, it was historical. But I didn't act right away. Life kept going, as it does, until years later, more losses came. My great aunt, my great uncle, a really close friend, my spouse's mother, and eventually my Nona, my grandmother, who I was especially close to. Grief came in waves, but one day, in the middle of it all, a new question arrived. What do I actually know about where I come from? A few years back, I was sitting with my Nona, flipping through old family photos that we have kept over the years. Some black and white, some faded, some 30 years old, some 50 years old. And that's when I started asking questions. Who is this in this picture? Where was this taken? What was her name? Me and my Nona realized that we didn't have many answers. There were names that we didn't recognize, places we couldn't pronounce, letters, and the writing that's on the back of a photo that is in a total different language. And I had no idea what any of it said. So many stories that were never told or had been forgotten. And that's when I realized that we're all walking around with just missing pieces to our story. And unless someone starts asking, those pieces stay missing. That was when the seed was planted. What I learned is that discovery isn't just about facts and family trees. It's about identity. Because when you start asking, who were they? You inevitably start asking, who am I? What beliefs do I carry because of them? What pain am I holding that isn't even mine? What strengths have I inherited that I have not honored? Self-discovery and family discovery aren't separate. They are layered. The more I learned about my family, the more I understood myself. It gave me language for things I had always felt but just didn't know how to explain. And that is why this work matters. You don't need a DNS you don't need a DNA test to start. You just need a question. And sometimes people say, I don't even know where to start. Well, to that I say, start with a story, a recipe, a name you heard once but never asked about, a memory that you only half remember. Start with grief if that's where you are. Start with celebration. Start with love. But just start. Because what we're really doing when we discover is gathering pieces of ourselves. We are made of stories, whether we know them or not. But when we do know them, that's when everything starts to click. And that is where connection and healing begins. My Nona told me last year before she passed, as I was going through all of these photos and questions, and she told me, I am so glad that you are asking these questions because I never thought to ask them myself. That moment stayed with me. It felt like a passing of the torch. That when I get these answers for me, they are also answers for her. So I kept going. And out of that journey, this podcast and the whole DCHP framework was born. Discover, connect, heal, protect. Because that's what I believe we are meant to do. Discover our stories, connect with our people and ourselves, heal what hurt, and then protect it all. And all of this, it starts with you. Here on the DCHP Lounge podcast, we are going to talk about it all. Family secrets, ancestry, healing work, money, boundaries, legacy, grief, celebration, history, and joy. We'll have guests, solo episodes like this one, reflections, questions, and every single episode will end with something to take with you. Now, I'm not here to be your guru. I'm just here to walk beside you, to be curious with you, to explore, unpack, and rebuild our legacies together. So welcome to the DCHP Lounge. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Before we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with something to reflect on. Every episode of the DCHP Lounge will end with the journaling prompt because healing, growth, and legacy building all start with self-awareness. And taking the time to pause, write, and process can open doors to clarity and transformation in ways that you never expected. Now, because healing is more than just reflection, it's action, I'll also leave you with a challenge, something small but intentional to help you take one step forward this week. This week's journaling prompt will be, what is one family story that you've heard that you want to know more about? And why does it matter to you? The challenge for this week is to call or text a family member and ask them one question you've never asked before, and let curiosity lead. Remember, even the smallest shifts create ripple effects. Keep discovering, keep healing, and keep building the legacy you are meant to leave. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode here on DCHP Lounge. If this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to share it with a friend or family member who needs to hear it. Be sure to follow us and keep the conversation going on Instagram at the DCHP Lounge, and you can visit us online at dchppodcast.com for full show notes, resources, and any links that you've heard from today's guests or sponsors mentioned. Remember, healing, growth, and legacy building all start with one small step. Until next time.